Hi 7th graders, happy Wednesday. Today we are going to be working on lesson 5.8, which is called Speeding Turtles. So before we do it, here's your joke. What did the big flower say to the little flower? It said, "Hi bud." Alright, our learning targets, you have two of them today. Our first one is I can multiply and divide positive and negative numbers. Our second one is I can identify different expressions that have the same value. So I need you to go to Desmos and get logged into lesson 8, which is called Speeding Turtles. Alright, let me get there. Sorry, I should have had this pulled up. Alright, so the first one, I want you to take a minute and look at this problem and figure out which one doesn't belong. And once you think you have an answer, share with your neighbor and see if you agree or if you disagree. Go ahead and pause the video to do those two things. Alright, welcome back. We are going to move on and work on screens 2 through 8. So go ahead and pause the video. I want you to do 2 through 8, and when you're ready and you're done, come back and you'll check your work. Alright, so screen 2 is saying that Tim travels -8 feet per minute for 3.25 minutes. Where will Tim end up? So what we need to do is we need to multiply 3.25 times a -8. Alright, so I don't have any scratch paper, or I'm not able to write on Notability. So I want you to multiply it, or sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm not able to write on this screen of Desmos, so go ahead and grab a piece of scratch paper and multiply it. When you multiply it, you'll get 26, but remember, a negative times a positive would be -26 feet. Let's go ahead and let's check our work. Sweet, moving on to screen 3. Screen 3 says Tam travels -4 feet per minute. She begins at 0 feet and ends at -10 feet. We need to figure out how long Tam is traveling. So we could do this a couple different ways. We could think -4 times what gives us -10, or you could take -10 divided by 4. So 10 divided by 4 gives me 2.5 minutes. And let's check our work, see if we're right. Yes. Screen 4 says Fabiana wrote the following equation to determine the time on the previous screen. -10 divided by -4. Explain why her equation makes sense. Well, we know that -10 is our position that we're at, and -4 is her speed. So we're going to divide those two. So that is why we use division. Alright, screen 5, it says Tommy travels -17 feet in 5 minutes. What is Tommy's rate of change? So we could do this as Tommy's position, which is -17, divided by how many minutes, which is 5. So we get -3.4 feet per minute. Let's go ahead and check our work. Perfect, we were right. Slide 6 says Tommy travels -17 feet in 5 minutes. Select all of the equations that represent this scenario. Alright, so our first one, our rate times 5 should equal -17. So that one works for sure. Taking a look at the next one, -17 times 5 does not give us our rate. So the second one we cannot select. The next one, our rate equals -17 divided by 5. That one works. The next one underneath it says rate equals -17 divided by 5. Those two are exactly the same, except they just have their negative outside, and they have their negative by the 17, which works. And then the last one, r equals 5 divided by -17, does not work. So you should have selected those 3. Awesome. Screen 7, sort the cards into groups of expressions with the same value. You may have one or more cards left over. So if we take a look at this first one, -3/6. So remember, right now you are checking your work with mine. You should have already done this. So -3/6 is the same thing as this one, -3/6. It doesn't matter if we have our negative outside our fraction or if we have one of the numbers as a negative. It does not matter. And then if we take a look, do we see any other 3 divided by a negative 6? Well, here I do. This one works as well. I don't see any others. So now let's take a look at the next one, negative 6 over 3. So this 6 over negative 3 would work because, again, it doesn't matter which number you make negative as long as one of them are negative. This one doesn't match because they're both positive. And this one doesn't match because they're both negative, and we know negative divided by negative is a positive. So none of those work. And then negative 3 over 6 is not the same thing, so that one does not work. Alright, so then we have negative 6 over negative 3. And remember, negative divided by a negative is a positive, so that's the same thing as saying 6 divided by 3. So this one should be the only one left over, negative 3 over negative 6. Very good. Moving on to the last one with screen 8. Screen 8 is more of a challenge. So if we take a look, you are supposed to create your own position for 3 new turtles so that in 5 minutes there's a 3-way tie. So you do that one on your own. Alright, screen 9. Once you get to screen 9, I want you to answer this question on your own. It says explain why these expressions have the same value. And then I want you to share your thinking with the person sitting next to you and see if you agree or disagree. Go ahead and pause the video when you have done that. Alright, welcome back. So what you should have said is that these are equal because it doesn't matter if you have the negative out in front of your fraction or if you make one of the numbers negative. They both mean the exact same thing. Alright, I'd like you to do 10 and 11 on your own. Go ahead and answer both slides and then come back and check your work with mine to make sure that you have understood it. Pause the video. Alright, so right now you are going to be doing and checking your work with mine. Negative 20 times negative 4 should have been 80. Negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. Negative 20 divided by negative 4 is 5. And 20 divided by negative 4 is a negative 5. Remember, negative times negative is positive. Negative divided by negative is positive. So that's your tricky one. Alright, when you are finished with both of these slides, go ahead and start working on the 2.8 assignment. If you have a question, send me a message on Schoology. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day.